Hello my precious friends, I really hope that you are doing great. Welcome to our today's class. It's our second lesson on the fourth topic of Form 3 work, which is called Work, Energy, Power and Machines. As usual, let me comment by giving you the quote of the day, which states that your value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. We shall discuss that quote at the end of our class today. So let's start by defining what we mean by a transducer. So a transducer is just a device that facilitates energy transformation from one form to another. To transform is just to convert energy from one form to another. For example, we can have from solar energy to chemical energy or to mechanical energy. Now, from our previous class, we did say that we have a variety of sources of energy, and the solar or the sun was the main source of energy. So the sun produces what we call the solar energy. So solar energy can be converted directly to chemical energy by a transducer called a plant or also an animal. For example, we know that plants do need light from the sun in order for them to manufacture their food through the process of photosynthesis. So a plant can convert the solar energy, that is the light from the sun, directly to chemical energy. Now remember that chemical energy is found in most foods and also in some animal foods. For example, we can have the beef, we can have or different types of meat. So a transducer or a device that converts solar energy directly to mechanical energy is either a plant or an animal. Then solar energy can also be converted directly to heat energy by a transducer or a device called a solar panel. So a solar panel will always convert solar energy directly to heat energy. Now, after converting to heat energy, the same heat energy can be converted directly to electrical energy by a device called a thermocouple. So a thermocouple is simply a device that can convert heat energy directly to electrical energy. Having looked at that, also electrical energy can be converted directly to heat energy by use of a transducer called an electrical heater. Yeah, for example, when you want to boil water, you can use an electric coil, which will simply convert the electrical energy from the socket into the heat energy that will help you to boil your water. Also, the solar energy can as well be converted directly to electrical energy without undergoing the heat energy step or process. So a device or a transducer that converts solar energy directly to electrical energy is called a photocell. Now, having looked at that, we can also have a conversion of energy from electrical to mechanical energy. So a device that converts electrical energy directly to mechanical energy is called a motor. And under motors we have different types. For example, we have what we call an electric motor. So an electric motor will simply convert electrical energy into mechanical energy. Also, mechanical energy can also be converted directly to electrical energy by a transducer called a dynamo. A very good example is the bicycle dynamo. And remember that for mechanical energy, we can have two forms. We can have the kinetic energy. We can also have the potential energy, that is the energy at rest. That is the energy possessed by a body which is at rest at some height from the ground. Then we know that kinetic energy is simply the energy in motion. So the energy in motion, or the kinetic energy or the mechanical energy, can be converted directly to electrical energy by use of a dynamo. And you have said that a good example is the bicycle dynamo, whereby in most cases the rear tire of that particular bicycle, as it rotates, it is always attached to a given part of a dynamo, such that as the bicycle rotates, the dynamo also, we have some parts of the dynamo that do rotate. Then we have a conductor within that particular dynamo. So it can be of two types. Either the conductor is rotated or a magnet is rotated. Then from the electromagnetic induction, that is a given topic in Form 4, we shall see that whenever a conductor is rotated within a magnetic field, then an EMF is induced or an electric current is induced. So a bicycle dynamo does use the same process. So it converts, in most cases, mechanical energy, and specifically it converts a type of mechanical energy called kinetic energy directly to electrical energy. Because when you are cycling a bicycle, actually that is energy in motion, that is kinetic energy. So your kinetic energy, that is the energy that you are using to cycle that particular bicycle, is converted directly to electrical energy by use of a bicycle dynamo. Then next, we can also look at this other branch whereby we can have potential energy, which is simply energy possessed by a body, which is at rest at some distance or at some height from the ground level. So potential energy can be converted directly to electrical energy by use of turbines. Yeah, remember the potential energy is as it moves, that is potential energy can be converted to kinetic energy, as we saw earlier. So the kinetic energy is now used to turn this particular turbines, which are always connected to a conductor, such that as the turbines rotate, they make a conductor to rotate within a magnetic field, hence producing what we call electrical energy. So a transducer that converts potential energy directly to electrical energy is called a turbine or turbines. Then electrical energy can also be reversed and converted back to potential energy by a device called an electrical water pump. An electrical water pump. Yeah, just assume that you have some water which is underground, then you want to raise it up to maybe a tank that is maybe 10 meters from the ground level. So you will use an electrical water tap or an electrical water pump. So the electrical water pump will simply pump the water from the ground level up to a higher level where you have erected or raised your tank. So because your tank is at some height from the ground, and the water, when the water goes into the tank, it goes to a state of rest, but at some height from the ground level. Therefore, that particular water possesses what we call potential energy. So an electrical energy can be converted directly to potential energy by use of an electrical water pump. Also, electrical energy can as well be converted directly to mechanical energy by use of a motor. Yeah, remember that when you switch on a motor, it starts rotating. So the energy in motion, that is kinetic energy, which is a very good example of mechanical energy. Because remember, under mechanical energy, we have either kinetic energy or potential energy. So if you want to convert electrical energy directly to mechanical energy, you use what we call an electrical motor or simply a motor. Then if you want to reverse the process, that is to convert mechanical energy directly to electrical energy, for example kinetic energy directly to electrical energy, you use what we call a dynamo. You can use a dynamo. Then a good example, we gave the bicycle dynamo. Then also electrical energy can be converted directly to heat energy by use of an electrical heater. Yeah, I'm sure you have interacted with an electrical heater. That is the normal coils. You simply connect the coil to a socket that has some electric current within it. Then that particular that is the coil has some material of very high electrical resistance. So as the current is being resisted, then that particular current or the electrical energy, as it gets a lot of resistance, it is converted to heat energy, or it is lost to heat energy. Therefore, a transducer or a device that that is converts or transforms electrical energy directly to heat energy is called an electrical heater. Then heat energy can as well be converted directly to electrical energy by use of a thermocouple. Then electrical energy can also be converted directly to light energy by use of the light bulbs. Yeah, even the normal bulbs in the streets, or also even in your classroom, you realize that it is simply they are powered by electricity. So they simply take the electrical energy, then they convert it to light energy. So those are the light bulbs, and examples, we have the fluorescent tubes, which are very good examples of bulbs which do convert electrical energy into light energy that makes you possible to see objects. Then light energy can also be converted directly to electrical energy by use of photocell, by use of a photocell. So from the discussions, we can see that the law of conservation of energy states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but can only be changed from one form to another. Yeah, as you have seen in this particular diagram. So you can never create or lose or destroy energy. What you can only do is change it from one form to another. For example, when you take some food, for example, if you take some sukuma wiki, you realize that that particular food, that is the plants and animals, they do have what we call chemical energy. Now, when you take food, you are taking in chemical energy. If you get some energy to, maybe you start doing some physical exercise, for example, running, after taking that particular food, then the chemical energy will be converted to energy in motion, which is the kinetic energy, and so on and so forth. So actually, you can never destroy or create energy. Instead, you can only transform it or convert it from one form to another, as we have seen in that particular example. So when you are running, you are actually simply using kinetic energy, and that kinetic energy, you got it because it was converted from the chemical energy that you gained from the food that you had just eaten. Remember, plants and animals, they do have the chemical energy. So even if you have eaten the meat contains chemical energy, therefore you can only convert it to different forms. For example, you can go and sit at some height from that particular ground level, therefore the chemical energy can as well be converted to potential energy, that is the energy at rest at some point or at some height from the level ground. So that is simply the law of conservation of energy, that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but instead it can only be changed from one form to another. For example, from electrical to heat energy, from heat back to electrical, and so on and so forth. Next, we look at work and energy, and we are defining work as, that is, work is done when a force moves a body through a distance in the direction of the force. So simply, this one means that if you apply a force, for example, this particular force towards the right hand side, and my body moves towards the right hand side at some distance, for example, for 2 meters, then we say that work has been done. At the same time, that means that if you apply a force towards the right hand side, then the body moves upward, or it moves downwards, or it moves in any other different direction. That is, it moves in a direction that is not similar to the direction in which that particular force is acting, then in science, we say that you have not done any work. So for you to have done any work, a body, that is the force applied, must cause the body to move some distance in the direction of that particular force. So the body must move in the direction of the force in order for work to be done. Also, if you apply maybe a force of 200 Newton on a body, then the body does not move. For example, if you start pushing a wall with a force of 20 Newton, then maybe from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the evening, then you realize that the wall has not moved, simply because maybe your force is too little to move that particular wall. Then we say that you have not done any work because no distance has moved. So for you to have done any work, you must apply a force, and your force must cause the body to move in the direction of application of that particular force. So if the body does not move, you have not done any work. If the body moves in a direction that is not similar or identical to the direction of action of the force, then again you have not done any work. So if the body moves maybe for 2 meters towards the right hand side, and I've applied my force towards the right hand side, then some work has been done. However, if the body moves upward or downward or sideways, then no work has been done. So these two conditions must strictly be adhered to, that for work to have been done, you must the body must move for some distance and strictly in the direction of action of the force. So from that definition, we can simply say that work done is the product of the force and the distance moved by the object in the direction of the applied force. Therefore, work done is equals to force times distance moved by the object in the direction of the applied force. So in terms of simples, work done is simply equal to FD, or force times the distance moved by that particular body in the direction of the force. Then from this particular formula here, we can see that the SI unit for work done will simply be the SI unit for force multiplied by that of distance. Therefore, the SI unit of work done is simply the SI unit for force, which is Newton, then for distance, which is meters. Therefore, Newton meter is the SI unit for the work done. But remember, 1 Newton meter is also called a joule, is equals to 1 joule. Remember, work done and energy, they are simply same one and the same thing, because energy, when you do some work, actually you must involve some energy. Therefore, the SI unit for energy and the work done are simply similar. Therefore, the work done is, the SI unit is Newton meter or the joule. Then we have a few conversions here, that 1 joule is equals to 1 Newton meter. Yeah, this one is simply to tell you that energy and work done are one and the same. Then 1,000 joules will always be equal to 1 kilojoule. Then 1,000,000 joules will always be equal to 1 megajoule. 1 megajoule. So mega is always associated with 1 million. Kilo is always associated with 1,000. For example, we know that 1,000 grams is equals to 1 kilogram. Yeah, so where we have kilo is always associated with 1,000, while mega is always associated with 1,000,000. Then let's look at one example here, which reads that calculate the work done by a stone mason in lifting a stone of mass 15 kg through a height of 2 meters. Then they want us to leave our answer in kilojoules. So because they want us to find the work done, and we know that for you to find the work done, you must have the force or the weight multiplied by the distance moved in the direction of that particular force. Therefore, the weight or the force, because we are only given the mass, and we also have the gravity, and we know that force or the weight is equals to mass times gravity. Therefore, the force applied is simply the weight of that particular stone, which is equals to its mass, which is 15 kg, multiplied by gravity, which is 10 Newton per kilogram. Therefore, the force applied is 150 Newton. Now, the work done is equals to force applied times the distance moved as a result of that particular force, or the distance moved in the direction of the force. And we are told that the body is moving to a height of 2 meters. Therefore, this is the distance through which that particular force caused our object to move. Therefore, the work done will be force times distance. The force is 150 Newton, which is its weight, times the distance moved is 2 meters. Therefore, the work done is 150 times 2, which gives you 300 Newton meter, or simply 300 joules, because we have said that 1 joule is equals to 1 Newton meter. Then they wanted us to leave our answer in kilojoules, and you have seen up here that 1,000 joules will always be equal to 1 kilojoule. So 1,000 joules is equals to 1 kilojoule. What about 300 joules? So it will simply be 300 joules divided by 1,000 joules times 1 kilojoule, which gives us a work done of 0.3 kilojoules. Then I have an exercise here that I do recommend that you should try to gauge whether you have understood the examples that we have done. So we've come to the end of our class today, but we need to discuss the quote of the day. The quote of the day stated that your value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. So the quote is simply encouraging us to believe in ourselves and to always know our self-worth. It is further encouraging us to shun away from people who have a habit of lowering our self-esteem by feeding our mind with negative thoughts. And lastly, remember that as you are busy doubting your own ability, other people are intimidated by your own potential. Therefore, you are far much better than you think. Yeah, you need to psych yourself up. You need to motivate yourself. You need to tell yourself that I'm able, I'm good, I'm good enough. Yeah, you need to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, remember that no one else will believe in you. Yeah, it is always said that if you don't believe in yourself, no one else can believe in you. But if you believe in yourself, then other people will also start believing in you. Thank you very much for accompanying me until the end of this particular lesson. I do not take it for granted. In case you are new to the channel, kindly hit the subscription button and also turn on the notification bell so that you help me grow the channel. And also, if you have any student or anyone that you honestly think could benefit from this content, kindly refer them to Kind Tuition Academy so that we grow together. I'm here waiting for your comments in case maybe the exercise is giving you troubles to solve it. Just notify me through the comment section, and I'm always here to respond and assist where necessary. This is Kind Tuition Academy. Until next time.